Good morning, everyone. On this Wednesday, I'm Dana Kozlov.
And I'm Jackie Kostek in for Audrina. Thanks so much for being with us. We are in weather alert mode this morning as waves of storms are expected throughout the day. They've already come this morning. Here's a live look at the conditions right now as our mobile weather lab is on the Dan Ryan inbound, keeping an eye on our roads.
And big changes in Chicago suburbs after yesterday's elections. Several areas are getting new mayors. The latest on those results and reaction from some of the winners.
And some of the Chicago Teachers Union planning to start voting today on its new deal with the school district.
We'll get to the news in just a moment, but as we said and as you saw, we're in alert mode, so let's get right to meteorologist Laura Bannon in the First Alert Weather Center right now. Laura?
Yeah, things are starting to look better on the radar, but that's likely not going to stand for long. We've had a couple of thunderstorms bubble up in the last hour or two. One intense thunderstorm that rolled right through the heart of the loop, and that has now moved out over the lake. We still have light rain that's falling from Chicago out toward Midway, points farther south, and then another area in a cluster of thunderstorms that's from McHenry right down 90 and into Schaumburg, Wheeling. Couple of downpours there. Not seeing much on the lightning front as of right now. North of McHenry having a couple of cloud-to-ground lightning strikes in that direction. Now expanding the view, things are still busy off toward the west. We'll be watching for this push of moisture and thunderstorms to move through now until about noon or so, and then we'll monitor what happens for the afternoon. If we can break out into some more sunshine, that's what's really going to help fuel up these thunderstorms and that severe weather threat we've been tracking all week long. Upper 60s, close to 70 degrees for highs today. That severe weather threat right now appears to not be a widespread threat, but more so of a conditional isolated risk for large hail, damaging wind, and tornadoes. Not much has changed with this map here. We are still under a level 3 risk on a scale of 1 to 5. We'll talk more in detail about the afternoon, evening severe weather threats coming up here in my next report.
All right, Laura, busy day. Thank you. And now to your nonstop news from the south to the north. Several suburbs around the Chicago area have newly elected mayors.
Our Darius Johnson is live in the newsroom right now with more on those results. Good morning, Darius.
Hey there, ladies. Good morning to you. From stadium talks in Arlington Heights to a political shakeup in Aurora, several suburban communities just elected new mayors. And with that comes new priorities, promises, and in some cases, major comebacks. Let's take a look at them right here. Arlington Heights has long been in the spotlight with the all-around buzz with the potential of a Chicago Bears stadium. And now there's a new mayor-elect. Village trustee Jim Tenaglia is claiming victory over Tom Schwingbeck and John Rittler. He'll take over for current mayor Tom Hayes, who is stepping down after more than a decade. Tenaglia was endorsed by Hayes, and he's made it clear he would like the Bears to come to Arlington Heights, but he's also raising red flags about traffic and whether city staffing can keep up. Now to Aurora, the state's second largest city, where there's a major shakeup at City Hall. City Councilman John Leish unseated two-time incumbent Richard Irvin. Irvin publicly conceded last night. We caught up with Leish live in studio in the last half hour. He is promising big changes like reducing the city's debt, investing in green energy, and upgrading basic infrastructure.
I am absolutely going to have to work to bring our city back together. I'm going to have to work with some of the aldermen who are more closely aligned with the current mayor to make sure that we are addressing the concerns in their wards and treat everybody fairly.
Now north to Waukegan, a four-way race ends with a comeback. Independent Mayor Ann Taylor has lost her re-election bid to Sam Cunningham. Cunningham also joined us live this morning. He made history back in 2017 as Waukegan's first black mayor, but was ousted after just one term. Now he's headed back to City Hall. Now let's go further south to Dalton, where voters have spoken. Trustee Jason House has been elected mayor after defeating independent challenger Cassandra Hobson-Jordan. He beat controversial incumbent Tiffany Henyard in the February primary. House ran with the slogan Clean House, promising to tackle the village's financial crisis and restore transparency. Now the newly elected mayors and village presidents will take their seats in May, many of whom are already shifting gears and starting to lay out their agendas. I'm Darius Johnson live in the newsroom this morning. Ladies, back to you in studio.
Darius, thank you so much for that recap. And while we had some key local races, there are are also regional ones with national implications. For Wisconsin Supreme Court, liberal Judge Susan Crawford from Dane County beat out conservative Waukesha County Judge Brad Schimmel. Now, the race popped into the national spotlight as Elon Musk backed Schimmel. That included Musk holding a rally in the state and handing out $2 million to voters. Crawford's win maintains the 4-3 liberal majority in Wisconsin's high court. Our political expert says the election shows how much of a swing state Wisconsin is, as people there voted to keep a voter ID law in place.
So at the same time, people were going and casting votes for what they knew was a more progressive judge on the Supreme Court, kind of a rebuff of Elon Musk and his policies. They were holding on to a conservative idea. So deeply purple, I would say, in Wisconsin.
The Wisconsin Supreme Court is expected to take up cases related to abortion, labor rights, and redrawing congressional maps. And the Chicago Teachers Union House of Delegates votes this afternoon on a tentative contract agreement with Chicago Public Schools.
If they approve it, the full CTU membership would vote on that deal. CPS teachers would be some of the highest paid in the country. The average salary would exceed $110,000 by the end of the 4-year deal. Teachers would get a 4% raise in the first year and then up to 5% over the next 3 years. It also includes smaller class sizes, support for veteran educators, and more prep time for teachers.
This is a victory for our students, our families, our staff, and our city, specifically our taxpayers.
Because it creates opportunities for them to have real collaboration and agency.
So how will the city pay for it? Well, CPS CEO Pedro Martinez insists that the city can cover the contract using the TIF funds over the next few years. As for the $175 million pension payment that CPS is reimbursing the city for, Martinez suggests a tax levy for that.
And breaking overnight, a longtime dry cleaning business was badly damaged by a fire in North Suburban Skokie. You can see smoke pouring out of the broken windows at Kenny the Cleaner near Dempster and Kimball. Now, the fire started just after 1 this morning, and we're told that firefighters from Skokie and several nearby suburbs responded to put out the flames. The fire chief told our nonstop news crew there is substantial damage inside, and the owner says he is concerned about his employees and his loyal customers.
Been here for 23 years. What a sadness. We got good traffic there, really good business, and it's been good to us. And of course, this community's been a wonderful one.
The owner says the shop's been open, as you heard, for 23 years. The cause of the fire is under investigation, and no injuries, fortunately, were reported. And breaking news out of New York now. A federal judge has just tossed out the corruption case against New York City Mayor Eric Adams. Adams had been accused of accepting illegal campaign contributions and travel discounts from Turkish officials. The Justice Department had agreed to toss the charges so the Democrat could help Trump's immigration crackdown. Adams had denied the accusations. The judge tossed the case with prejudice, meaning it cannot be brought back again. And as we keep an eye on your world this morning, family, friends, and fans are remembering actor Val Kilmer.
His daughter says he died yesterday from pneumonia. The acclaimed actor starred in a string of blockbuster hits in the 80s and 90s. He starred in Top Gun alongside Tom Cruise. He played Jim Morrison in The Doors, and he portrayed the Caped Crusader Batman in Batman Forever. Kilmer recovered after a 2014 throat cancer diagnosis that left him with a raspy voice. Kilmer was 65 years old.
Israel is expanding its military operation in Gaza to seize, quote, large areas of land. The country's defense minister said in a statement that it's to, quote, crush and clean the area of terrorists. He also called on Gazans to expel Hamas and return all hostages. Now, this operation will involve a large-scale evacuation of Palestinians. As the humanitarian crisis in Gaza worsens, all bakeries have now been shut down.
It's due to a severe lack of fuel and flour as the region is crippled by Israel's near month-long blockade of humanitarian aid. The World Food Program has warned food supplies are set to run out for the territory's population of 2 million in about 2 weeks' time. The international organization said in a statement that they will distribute their last food parcels before this weekend.
The situation is extremely difficult, beyond explanation. I have 40 family members, and I've been searching for bread for them since 8 a.m.
This week, the head of the UN's Agency for Palestinian Refugees said that this is the longest Gaza has been without any supplies since the war began.
Later this morning, there's a pretrial hearing in the deadly Ethiopian Airlines crash case. It starts at 11 at the Dirksen Federal Courthouse. 157 people were killed when a 737 MAX 8 plane went down in Ethiopia just 6 minutes after takeoff in 2019. This case is on behalf of two of the victims, 58-year-old Paolo Dici and 46-year-old Darcy Bellinger. Boeing has agreed to take full responsibility for the cause of that crash.
The Department of Justice has ordered prosecutors to seek the death penalty against Luigi Mangione. He's the man accused of shooting and killing United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson in New York. In a statement, U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi said Thompson's killing was a quote, cold-blooded assassination and said it was an act of political violence. Next up, expanding mental health education in schools.
It's a focus of a new bill under consideration in the Illinois House, and two teenagers, high schoolers, were behind it. They'll join us live. And more economic uncertainty as President Donald Trump announces new tariffs today, how soon they'll take effect and the potential impact right here at home.
A rough start to the day already with multiple waves of thunderstorms. The severe weather threat will come into play here this afternoon. We'll take a closer look at the timeline and that storm threat coming up here shortly.
We're celebrating National Deep Dish Pizza Day. You're perfect for that role, which is this Saturday. Laura likes to keep things traditional with a real Chicago favorite, onions, peppers, and sausage. Ahead at about 9:40 or so, all of us will be making pizza live right here in the studio with the help of Pizzeria Uno.
Yay!
Do we get hats?
Yeah. I hope. We get aprons. Okay, I'm going to clear out of the way.
Two teenagers, high school students in fact, are spearheading a bold initiative to expand mental health education in Illinois schools. They pitched state lawmakers, and now House Bill 2960 is making its way through the General Assembly. It aims to amend the school code so that comprehensive mental health instruction is part of health class for everybody. And joining us now are the two students that I mentioned, Sai Ganbote, right? Did I say that correctly? Great, okay. And Abhinav Ann. You guys are the ones responsible for this bill that is now up for discussion next week in Springfield in the House.
Yes.
But may I ask you first, if it's okay with you, where did this idea come from, and specifically, what does the bill entail?
We were inspired by our classmates, our friends, our very family that suffer with mental health illnesses, and we realized that we need to do something right now. There's been an epidemic of mental illnesses spread, especially after COVID-19, and we wanted to bring resources right to our future, our students, through the school system, because what better way than introducing that in our daily lives, whether that's through health, PE, or even our classes such as bio or literature.
Let me ask you this. I know that we reached out to the sponsor of the bill. You were able, of course, obviously, to get a sponsor, Representative Laura Favre-Diaz, and she told us this started with a pitch from the two of you. But what specifically, if I may ask you, Abhinav, what specifically do you want to see taught in these classrooms if the bill indeed makes it through the House and then the Senate?
Yes, of course. I think at the basis of all of our initiatives was kind of creating an equitable approach that focuses on a lot of different groups, especially LGBTQ, Asian Americans, and individuals across this spectrum. So we really want to make sure our curriculum really comprehends and ties in with those individuals, and also focuses on things like stress coping mechanisms, anxiety disorders, and a lot of other coping mechanisms that everyone on a large scale can relate to.
You know, a lot of people, there's still such a stigma around mental health in our society, in my opinion, and of course one way to destigmatize anything is to talk about it and educate people about it. Sai, we continue to learn more about mental health, especially when it comes to young people, and the former Surgeon General now called mental health the public health crisis of our time. As students, what experiences do you find, that students have when it comes to struggling with their mental health? I mean, what are you seeing yourselves firsthand, and how do people react to that?
Going to a math and science academy, we struggle a lot with anxiety and academic pressure, along with this stigma of being perfect to apply for colleges. It's become an everyday thing to strive to be perfect, and in that we kind of lose ourselves and our own mental health, realizing that we should actually prioritize our happiness and what we actually like to do. Specifically, we see students just under pressure all the time in their studies and not really giving themselves an outlet to speak or actually enjoy themselves with their friends.
Yeah, and getting some mental health help, therapy or whatnot is really important. Counseling is important. Feeling emboldened to speak up about it, and that education in classrooms I think would help. Abhinav, I know that you're very involved in getting this bill through the General Assembly. People who want to support it or who want to push it along, what can they do?
Of course. So anyone across the Illinois state can submit a witness slip, and those are found in the Illinois General Assembly dashboard. And witness slips are a great way to show support of a bill and also show appreciation for the bill and its mission. And another thing the Saeed and I are also launching is an organization, youth-led nonprofit known as Spotlight, and we're really interested in gathering volunteers and members who can support and donate to our mission.
Okay, and how do they find you?
Yeah, so our donation page will be set, and then we're also setting up for our launch, so our website will be public soon.
All right, well, you have to let us know so that we can follow up and let our viewers know. And I just want to say one last thing. Saeed and Abhinav, you are both juniors at Illinois Math and Science Academy, juniors in high school, and you have crafted this bill, found a sponsor, and now you're pushing it through the state legislature at the age of 16? 17 now, but it started when you were 16, I bet.
Yes.
So congrats to you on that initiative, and I wish you success.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Sai, Abhinav, thanks so much for being with us. And again, please follow up with us, okay? House Bill 2960 currently being debated again in the House. The bill's co-sponsor, Representative Diaz, tells us she hopes to have it out of the House and to the Senate by the end of this month. Laura, pretty impressive, isn't it?
So impressive. Incredible. Well done. All right, we got to turn into weather alert mode because we've had a really busy morning and it is still raining across parts of the area. Here's our live look over Midway right now, where it's not the prettiest looking day and it's not too warm either. We're at 42 degrees. Do expect a big warm up today. High right around 70 degrees in the late day, but again, it's going to be tough with all the rounds of rain and thunderstorms that we have coming this way. Early wake-up call from those thunderstorms. We mostly have light rain falling across the Chicago area, but a couple of clusters and some downpours, some thunderstorms that have bubbled up. One area that we're watching is racing off toward the east, right along the shoreline to northwest Indiana, coming out of Lake County, going into Porter County. Behind that, one lonely storm out toward Will County and farther to the north and west. Seeing a little lightning right now out near Algonquin. That number of strikes, it was high earlier this morning. That number has dramatically been reduced. So we still have some thunderstorms out there. Chilly temperatures, we're rebounding some. Low to mid 40s from Aurora, 46 Joliet, Ottawa close to 50 degrees. Expanding the view, the focus for severe weather all morning long has been along this line of thunderstorms that came out of Kansas, went into Missouri, had this line of thunderstorms along it with a tornado watch in this yellow shaded area here. A couple of severe thunderstorm warnings, and then we've got one tornado warning along that band. Notice along this, though, we don't have any active warnings in effect as of right now. Have some high winds out ahead of it, though. Winds coming in from the southeast, gusts close to 30 miles per hour. These winds will only ramp up throughout the day, especially afternoon until about 7 o'clock. You've got some wind gusts as high as 45 miles per hour, and that's mostly going to be to our southern tier counties from Kankakee out toward LaSalle. But even outside outside of that wind advisory, we are expecting some gusty winds today. Now, the severe weather threat, there's a lot to really dive into this one graphic right here. But again, the big take-home message is right now is looks like the severe weather threat is going to be shifting farther south. And each run, too, kind of trims off a couple of counties that we have for that enhanced risk, but still across Chicago, northwest Indiana, and farther south under that level 3 risk for severe thunderstorms here this afternoon. And that's going to be the round of thunderstorms that we monitor for that tornado risk. Greatest risk right now looks like it's going to be for some damaging winds, and the coverage on this looks rather isolated and not as widespread in terms of coverage that we had with the early morning hours. But those thunderstorms didn't produce a whole lot, just a lot of lightning, heavy rain, and a little hail, too. Your severe weather threat, damaging wind is going to be the greatest threat. Large hail, tornado risk, it's still high again for today. Flooding risk, we're right in the in-between there. 7-day forecast, high of 68 today, cooler tomorrow, a little in the chill in the air going into the weekend. Next rain chance comes through late Friday into Saturday morning.
All right, Laura, thanks so much. Well, next today is World Autism Awareness Day, and with the unemployment rate for those on the spectrum at 40%, one business shares how it's making it their mission to provide job opportunities.
Before drivers start their engines at the Chicago Street Race this summer, NASCAR wants to hear from you. It is hosting a community engagement meeting tonight at 6. It is a virtual meeting, so you need to register to get that link. That's at NASCARchicago.com/local info. Representatives from NASCAR, the city, the Park District, and more will be answering questions from the community.
Today is World Autism Day, and one business has more than half of the employees with autism spectrum disorder. So it's a t-shirt company called Spectrum Designs. It was co-founded by Patrick Bardsley, who worked at a special needs summer camp and realized the kids there would need jobs as adults. So the unemployment rate for people with ASD is at least 40%.
I was job interviewing, and within the first 5 minutes, the employer told me, "I can't hire you because you don't make eye contact." And that really upset me because I knew everything about the company. I would have been a great employee.
Employees get competitive pay and benefits. There's a quiet space for breaks, clear signage, and a video-based training system. Spectrum Designs has 2 locations in New York, and J. Crew is actually one of its clients.
And next at 9:30, President Trump announcing new tariffs later today. He is describing as reciprocal.
Marissa Perlman will be live to break down the plans and potential impact.
And big changes in Chicago's suburbs after a really busy election day. A look at the wins and losses and how voters weighed in at the polls.
I don't know if I can pull off that hat, but we'll see a little bit later on. Today, we are celebrating National Deep Dish Pizza Day, which is actually happening on Saturday. So here's my order, a simple but classic pepperoni only. And a bit later, we'll speak to the folks at Pizzeria Uno, who are going to be live in studio teaching us how to make some deep dish pizza. Can't wait for that. We'll see you right after the break. Good morning to you. I'm Jackie Kostek in for Audrina.
And I'm Dana Kozlov. It's 9:30. Thanks so much for staying with us on this Wednesday. We are in weather alert mode this morning as we're just starting a full day of showers and storms. And you can see what it's like right now as our mobile weather lab is driving on the inbound Stevenson near Cicero. It is slow going and it is wet.
And we're taking another live look right now as we make some deep dish pizza ahead of Deep Dish Pizza Day. Pizzeria Uno is in studio to help us out this morning. We cannot wait to dive into some of these pies and actually get our hands dirty, so to speak, because we are going to be making these pies.
Yes, we are. Laura included.
Yes.
And speaking of Laura, let's turn it over to you with more on
I'm
what
just
we can
doing
expect.
it all today.
You are. You are.
Busy girl.
Absolutely.
Oh, my goodness. And so we are still on alert for that severe weather threat heading into the afternoon and evening. So far, the thunderstorms that we've had this morning have certainly been loud. You can definitely hear them rumbling across the area, and it's been causing problems out on the roadways. A slow morning commute. I don't expect things really to change anytime in the short term. Right now, some scattered downpours, a couple of embedded thunderstorms out there, but not widespread like we had just a couple of hours ago. Severe weather threats will start to increase between noon and 9 o'clock here this evening. The hazards, large hail, damaging wind, that is going to be the greatest threat with those thunderstorms. And also the tornado risk is rather high with this type of setup. Now, the storm threat looks like it's going to be more isolated in nature and not as widespread. So we'll monitor how this one will evolve for the second half of the day. But let me show you what's happening on the map right now. We've had a couple of embedded thunderstorms that redeveloped across parts of Chicago and still have some downpours. But what I'm watching right now is out toward Livingston County. There's a little cluster of thunderstorms that's going to be riding up in this direction. Right now, there's nothing severe, but you can tell we've got a frequent light show right here. A lot of cloud to ground lightning that's going to be moving into our area. Chief threats will be for some gusty winds and some hail. Temperatures right now in the 40s. It's 44 Midway, 45 rather, out toward Aurora. We do get to the 60s, near 70 degrees in the late day, and that's when we'll see those thunderstorms redevelop across the area. More on the rest of the day forecast coming up here shortly.
All right, Laura, thank you so much. From the south to the north, several suburbs have newly elected mayors this morning.
That includes the state's second biggest city of Aurora. Alderman at large John Lash unseated two-time incumbent Richard Irvin. Irvin publicly conceded the race last night. Lash is promising big changes. He's focused on reducing the city's debt, investing in green energy, and upgrading basic infrastructure. Our political expert says this race really focused on the local part of politics, not national issues.
The issues that are there are oftentimes very localized. So, for instance, you had the casino issue in Aurora, where they sort of moved it from the river over closer to the highway. And those are the things that sometimes we want to make national implications from them. I think we have to think about what people locally are concerned about, things that come closer to home. And I think that's exactly what happened in Aurora.
And in Orland Park, former city trustee and clerk Jim Dodge beat current village president Keith Peckaw. We spoke with Dodge earlier this morning about his victory, and he told us, despite people knowing he's a Republican, he considers his ticket fairly purple. He credits his time as a nonpartisan member of the board for his win.
I think that in our case in Orland Park, I can't speak to the other towns, there was a definite mood of the voters to not have such partisanship at the village hall. They just wanted people to focus on Orland Park and Orland Park concerns. And we've got some debt issues. We've got tax increases that have been happening for the past couple of years. People knew it and people weren't happy about it. So just thrilled with the outcome.
Two other big races we're following are Arlington Heights and Dalton. In Arlington Heights, village trustee Jim Tenaglia is claiming victory over Tom Schwingbeck and John Riddler. He'll take over for current mayor Tom Hayes, who is stepping down after more than a decade in office. Tenaglia was endorsed by Mayor Hayes, and he's made it clear he wants the Bears to move to Arlington Heights. And in Dalton, trustee Jason House has been elected mayor there, defeating independent challenger Cassandra Hobson Jordan. He beat controversial incumbent Tiffany Henyard in the February primary. House ran with the slogan Clean House, promising to tackle the village's financial crisis and restore transparency.
President Donald Trump is scheduled to announce and immediately enact global retaliatory tariffs this afternoon.
He'll be joined by auto and steel workers and top congressional leaders at the White House for that announcement. Marissa Perlman joining us in studio right now with more on that and what Americans are worrying about as a result.
Yeah, so I think that's the big question. Will we be spending more, guys? So the tariffs are set to go into effect as soon as they're announced today. The president has said the move will be a boom for the U.S. economy and workers, but economists say it may take a while before we see an impact on everyday life.
We have Liberation Day, as you know, on April 2nd.
For months, Trump kept businesses and the public in the dark on his tariff plans for these reciprocal tariffs. But this afternoon, he's expected to answer at least some questions about what is set to happen. The U.S. will also start collecting new 25% tariffs on foreign vehicles and auto parts. These tariffs will come on top of any country-specific tariffs that are already in place. But perhaps the most impacted day-to-day purchases we will see impacted for American families, that will be at the grocery store, where a large share of our fruits, nuts, and vegetables are imported from Mexico, Canada, and China. But economists say broader effects we may not feel right away.
You think about the economy, like a big cruise ship. You can't turn on a dime.
Already we're seeing it, retaliation by other countries which is going to make it harder for American firms to sell their goods and services abroad.
So Senate Democrats and a few Republicans are pushing a bill to undo Trump's tariffs against Canada. Overnight, President Trump slammed their efforts on social media, threatening not to sign the legislation if it does reach his desk. So we'll be keeping our eyes on that as well. And also ahead of the tariffs, some major car companies have said they've already seen sales spike, with folks kind of running to buy cars before the potential for those prices to spike as well. So folks are tuned into this.
Trying to get ahead of it for sure.
Absolutely.
Or panic buying.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
that too.
Or, right? All right, Marissa, thank you so much.
And next in today's Jumpstart, we are at a dream location for anyone with a sweet tooth. I am raising my hand right now. We are checking out Candicopia, located in Oak Park.
Turning to your first alert weather, an unsettled day, a level 3 risk for severe thunderstorms, especially in the afternoon and evening. Here's a high risk for severe weather where a tornado outbreak is likely across parts of Memphis. We'll track this storm, the storm threats, and the timeline coming up here shortly.
Oh, I look right at home in that shot set, don't I? Oh my goodness. Our celebration of National Deep Dish Pizza Day continues. It's this Saturday, but today we're making our own with the help of Pizzeria Uno. Here's a look at what I like on my pizza. Yes, it says pineapple. You are reading that correctly. Pizzeria Uno joins us live in studio. Straight ahead.
All right, let's do another look at the radar here this morning. It's starting to get busy again. We're watching those thunderstorms to the south. That's now moving into Kankakee County. That's the one cluster of thunderstorms I mentioned earlier. Biggest threat with those is going to be the lightning, the heavy rain, hail, and some gusty winds. So we'll watch how that progresses throughout the rest of the morning. Showers here across Chicago, moving out over the lake. Level 3 risk on a scale of 1 to 5. Large hail, damaging wind, and that tornado risk will increase afternoon today and take us till about 9 o'clock. 68 degrees, that's the last of it. We'll be in the 50s starting Thursday, go through the weekend before we take another dip down to a 42 on Monday, 26 by Tuesday morning.
I like the way you said dip.
Dip.
Yeah,
Dip.
it's a big dip.
It's
To
a big
26
dip.
degrees is a big dip.
Unwelcome.
It is a
I'm
big
gonna start squeezing tomatoes as stress relief. That was such a joy.
Really
wasn't that?
satisfying.
It really is, isn't it weird?
Yeah.
Especially with gloves on too, because then if you have any sort of sensory weird stuff like I kind of do with squishy things, you're like, this is great.
But it felt kind of like it felt powerful.
End of day.
It really was. It really
and now
was.
we get to eat.
Yay!
Okay.
No,
anyway, thanks so much for joining us here on the news at 9. Your local news continues on our stream, CBS News Chicago.
Have a great day.
Welcome back, everyone. I mean, this is it. This is what we're dealing with today on the roadways, and this is our mobile weather lab crew driving inbound on the Stevenson. It was right around California. I'm sure they're a little bit further east right now, but would that be east, Laura? Yeah, east. Yeah, east. North. Oh, I should know this. It's been a long morning.
It has been a long
anyway,
morning.
this is what it looks like right now. So if you are getting ready to head out the door and you're checking this out, just know it's going to take you a long time. And weather-wise, too, we're going to be dealing with this, right, for a while, Laura?
Yeah, and it's disappointing that today's the day that it's 68 degrees, and this is what you're working with.
I know. That's what I kept seeing the temperatures all morning long.
I
and
keep
was
skipping
thinking,
over it.
That would be so great. Yeah,
I
but it's
know.
a swing and a miss situation.
Truly, yes. We are still going to be under that weather alert, though, through the rest of the day. The coverage on the afternoon, evening thunderstorms not going to be as widespread, but what you see is what you get right now. Lots of clouds. It's chilly. We're still in the 40s, but these temperatures are really going to be building throughout the rest of the day. Some scattered downpours, a few isolated thunderstorms. No warnings so far this morning, but again, it's been a rough start to the day with the clouds around lightning, the intense rain, the ponding out on the roadways like we saw on Mobile Weather Lab there, and a few reports of some small hail. Not to warning criteria. You have to get to an inch to see that quarter-size hail. Afternoon is when we're going to see that severe weather threats really start to increase with the large hail threat, the wind, and that tornado risk. Out of all these hazards here, damaging wind still appears to be the greatest threat with any of these thunderstorms. Tornado not too far behind that. Large hail and flooding concerns. We've had quite a bit of rain here this morning. We're only going to put down more as we put down more waves of rain and thunderstorms. A couple of areas that I'm watching for some of those thunderstorms to be moving in this direction. The first one, your eye automatically goes right here, right toward the southern portion of Kendall-Grundy County, and also out toward Kankakee, right across Livingston County. Lots of lightning associated here, so that's going to be the next big punch of thunderstorms that come through. Outside of the scattered downpours, right through Chicago, east of Downers Grove, up towards Schaumburg, Evanston, all the way up toward the Illinois-Wisconsin state line. Another band of rain that's going to be pushing through in the coming hour or so. Chilly, I mean, we're holding in the 40s. These numbers have barely budged all morning. It's 44 Midway, 44 Elgin, upper 30s to parts of northwest Indiana. Severe weather threat, level 3 risk on a scale of 1 to 5. Still some questions as far how north that severe weather threat reaches here today. But with this setup today, all modes of severe weather will be possible afternoon today. And that's going to take us through about 8, 9 o'clock this evening for that isolated storm threat. Here's those thunderstorms going up by 4 o'clock, eventually clearing through as a cold front comes through late to the night. We'll be in the 60s all the way through 10 o'clock. Cooler day tomorrow, 56 degrees, breezy conditions. We've got a short break in terms of rain. Thankfully, no thunderstorms. Late Friday into early Saturday morning, some scattered showers. Temperatures will stay on the cooler side. Low 50s Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And then we've got a push for cold air for next week by Monday. High of 42 down to 26 degrees for early Tuesday morning.
All right, Laura, thank you.
26 degrees, Laura?
I said thank you without really thinking about the impact. Oh, man. But Dana, I got to give you some good news. We are at the food portion of our day. We are entering food.
I am so happy to hear this.
Channeling food right now. So we are jump-starting your morning at a candy lover's dreamland.
That's right, from gummies to chocolates. Candicopia in Oak Park is stocked with all sorts of sweet treats. Co-owner Patrick Mason takes us inside for a look.
Hi, I'm Patrick, the owner of Candicopia out here in Oak Park. Thanks for joining us in today. We're excited to show you around the store, and specifically, one of the reasons people come here is just for the variety of candy that we offer. Right now, we're at our bulk bar. We have 175 different jars of gummies and chocolates, wrapped candies, and so one of our most popular sections here, people just get to come in and make their own bag and get some of their special mixes of their favorites. However, what's really taken the world by storm is this Bubs Swedish gummy. So Bubs are super viral on TikTok right now. It's a Swedish gummy that's like a marshmallow foamy gummy texture. Really iconic, hard to find, and we're importing these and seeing people come in from all over the country to find them. We also specialize in retro candies. So people come in every day looking to be reconnected with the candies of their youth. So Necco wafers, Abba Zaba, Chuckles, these wax bottle nickel nips are some of our favorite sellers in the store. And these are coming back on TikTok as well. People are freezing them and biting into them. But going back to international, people want to be reunited with their favorites like Snickers and Twix. We get them from India and Brazil in different flavors. So this Snickers is a pistachio saffron flavor from India. Something you normally don't find. I love this bar. It is really wonderful. Something familiar and different, all the way to different like Japanese sour candies. We've got Skittles that are sweet and spicy from China as well. So lots to explore and discover here. Let me show you one more area of the store here. One of the few things that we make in-house, because we tend to collect candy, we make our own freeze-dried candy. And so we have a freeze dryer in-house, so we'll apply Skittles, gummies, these are Charleston chews. We'll cut them up, put them into the freeze dryer, and each one transforms into a completely different shape and texture. So these green apple gummy rings turn into these giant puffs. They're almost like a cheese puff texture, but dried out like astronaut ice cream. These Skittles turn into almost like bites of popcorn. They burst open, super flavorful. And then this is a mini Charleston chew that we freeze dry. The marshmallow inside puffs up, but the chocolate stays there as a coating. And so just, again, a new way to explore some of your favorite candies in a different format. And last but not least, every day people come in for ice cream, even in the wintertime. It doesn't matter how cold it is. So sundaes, scoops, some of our favorite things to serve here. Thanks so much, guys. Hope you enjoyed the tour.
Well, National Deep Dish Pizza Day is just 3 days away this Saturday, so grab your aprons and join us.
Yep, we did. We brought in a few experts from Pizzeria Uno who will celebrate Saturday with a family-friendly pizza making day.
Yes, Robert Komar of Pizzeria Uno Chicago is here. Lupe is also here this morning. So good morning, you guys. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
Let's just dive in with a really simple question. What makes a great deep dish pizza?
Well, like he said, the crust is very good. I love the crust of the dip dish pizza. It's not soft, it's kind of hard. And I want to invite everyone to come and learn how to make dip dish pizza, to come to the class. We don't have a lot of time, so I just going to show you what you need.
Okay, and we're going to
all your sugar, salt, yeast, and flour. Also, we don't have a lot of time to build up the pizza, so we made a little bit of the pizzas, but you can start putting some tomato.
The cheese, we've already got a layer of cheese.
We already got
gloves. I'm letting everyone know.
Dana, I am really fearful of your white sleeve diving into that.
All in the name of pizza.
Oh man, it is. That's true. That's true.
So we start, Laura's going to need this
sauce?
over here.
Just to cover the whole pizza.
Just to cover the bottom. Oh, it's really
chunky.
Weird.
There's something
Why?
It was like sort of. It's a nice.
No, you get your hands dirty. You get your hands dirty.
I like it.
If you don't find the spoon, this is your spoon when you come to the class.
No, you use your hands. This is your hands.
Years, you know.
Crushing tomatoes is part of the fun of it.
Okay, so I got a layer of sauce.
And then we're only gonna have a cheese pizza. So you put a little bit right in the middle. There's a signature. We put, this is oregano.
That's an 80-20 mix of
thank you.
Of
oregano,
Parmesan and oregano.
Just a little bit.
Mine is
a little bit.
Really
See what she's doing right now? This is Pizzeria Do It. We just put a little bit right in the middle of the pizza. Pizzeria Do It. Do all over.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So it's good.
May I ask?
80-20 Parmesan.
80% Parmesan, 20% oregano.
Yeah.
Wow. This is chaotic.
I'm taking
Pizza's fun. Pizza's a little
So I have to tell you really quickly, you know, my first job, as I mentioned to you guys off camera, that my first job ever was making pizzas at Barrow's Pizza in Palatine, Illinois. 40 plus years ago. Then we'll leave it at that. So this is bringing me back. Okay.
Yes.
So we've got our wonderful cheesy oregano stuff. Now what?
Now we put it in the oven and to cook. We don't bring more toppings because we don't have a lot of time. This is like a cheese pizza only. And
so you put that in the oven, and 40 minutes later, through the magic of television right over there, that is what the finished product would look like.
Oh, yes. Okay, so let's talk about, these are our favorite pizzas. Why is mine the teeny tiny one?
Oh
no, these are all
yes.
This is yours, guys.
All right.
So much
It filled you up. The individual is for one person, more than enough. Yes.
I'm like, wait.
Yeah.
This is for 3 people.
Okay.
Yeah, the individual is the one on the end is the sausage, onions, and peppers.
That's Laura's.
The one in the middle is the pepperoni, and then the last one is the sausage, black olives. I hate to say it, the onions and the pineapple.
Yeah, that's mine, baby.
This is mine,
and then these are the beautiful.
Yeah, these are varieties. So that's a 4 cheese and pesto. So that one has a tomato slice rather than a tomato base, and has a pesto base. And this one is our most popular one, which is a numero uno: sausage, pepperoni, green pepper, mushroom, and onion. So.
And Robert, I want to make sure that we get to why you guys are here, which is National Deep Dish Pizza Day on Saturday, and you guys are actually going to have classes like this where people can get involved. So can you tell us all of the information in case people are watching right now and they want to do a better job of Laura and Dana?
Yeah, as you said.
Yeah, okay, yours is good. Mine is a mess, but
the National Deep Dish Pizza Day is April 5th, so that's this Saturday, and that's why we're here. And we are offering cooking classes. We have been doing them for about 13 years, and they've become more popular. We'll have about average class is about 30 people, and we're proud of it because Deep Dish started at Pizzeria Uno in 1943. So at the corner of Ohio and Wabash. It's a real small place if you've ever been there.
I've been there. And let me ask you, what do you think? Why did it catch on? Do you think? Because it's very different than New York style pizza, et cetera, et cetera. Why Deep Dish? Why is it so popular here?
I think it's just because no one. It's something that never happened. It started there, so no one ever had it. So something new, so everyone wanted to try. So it started at the bar. They started giving away the pizzas at the bar first, like pretzels you would, so that they would order drinks more. So
Wait, why did this drop off?
So we've been doing it for 82 years, and then we became so popular, we opened up our second one across the street at Pizzeria Due. So Pizzeria 1, 1943, Due 1955, and then we have our Mexican restaurant, Su Casa, 1963, and we're all within 500 feet of each other. So we're excited about the classes that we offer. People come, and it's a 2-hour class, so this is a very, very condensed version of what you get. So it's an exciting time, fun time. People come in. We've had people that come in I think our person the last time they'd taken the class 13 times.
They're trying to.
It was his birthday the last time.
I don't know if that means that we're not teaching it well or if that's just smart business, but
I teach the
leave them
class.
wanting more.
They love it.
They
love it.
The teacher. And speaking of teaching, Lupe, we want to thank you for helping teach us. Robert, thank you so much for being here. Pizzeria Uno. This is kind of a glimpse of what you can learn and then what you can eat. So we really appreciate it.
And it smells so darn good. We cannot wait to dive into the ones that are
we'll get into it. We'll get into them.
So if you would like to build your own pizza, head to Eventbrite to register for those classes. They will be at the 29 East Ohio Street and 619 North Wabash locations. Space is limited. We'll be right back.